Welcome to Business Class. I'm Steve Ekstrom from Learn Tourism, a nonprofit academy dedicated to advancing the tourism industry through innovative training and sustainable practices. Our mission? To empower travel professionals and communities with the knowledge they need to create meaningful, authentic, and sustainable tourism experiences. Ready to join us on this journey? Visit learntourism.org and start making a difference today.
Stephen, thank you for having me.
I am glad we finally have a chance to chat.
Fort Worth is a rapidly growing city. I want to talk about what's interesting to you and your followers, so you'll know best about that. You said tell my story. Glad to talk a little bit about where I came from. I looked over some of your previous podcasts. Can you give me just a 1 minute about what drives you, Stephen?
I am a nerd. I love to learn. It was a big aha moment about 11 years ago when I realized, as much as I love travel and working in tourism, what all of my travel experiences had in common was that I got to learn something.
Wow.
And one of my
Wow.
favorite quotes is Robert Heinlein, who states, when one teaches, two learn.
You and I have something in common because curiosity is what drives me. And you and I have that in common. I think that's having a curious outlook to the world that drives a lot of us and makes life more interesting. I'm Mitch Whitten. I'm president and CEO of Visit Fort Worth, my second week in this new role after 13 years at the organization. The New York Times did a CEO interview series called The Corner Office for a decade. And when they decided to discontinue that, they went back and asked themselves, what were the common themes that everyone pointed to that made them more effective leaders or effective CEOs? And the thing they kept coming back to, the number one quality, was curiosity. And I think curiosity not only allows us to innovate because we want to know what's next, how to do things better. And frankly, I think it gives us a little humility. The idea that there's things out there we don't know. There are things out there that we don't know that we don't know. And that idea that we have a life and a career that is about self-improvement and helping those around us improve is a really, I think, fulfilling mindset and frankly makes for a fulfilling life.
I wholeheartedly agree. Life would be very boring if there was nothing left to learn.
I must admit, when I started my career, despite my dad's warnings, I did think I knew it all. And I'm very lucky I had the chance to evolve beyond that. I started my career as a journalist. My first job out of college was writing for a newspaper, which is about asking other people's stories. What are their stories? And thankfully, I had a chance to grow up and to put that curiosity to better use by learning from those around me. But honestly, in our tourism space, it's been great for our team to have that same mindset running a convention and visitors bureau, Visit Fort Worth, because we are curious about the stories around us and how to bring them in to the marketing of our city. Hiring a team that has those similar qualities has served our city well.
And I think telling the visitors the stories of the people who live there and have lived there helps to build connection.
We call it community-based tourism, and it's more than just showing the barbershop in the ad or putting a picture of the barista in the ad. It's really getting input from community, which can be scary, right? But at least in our city, and I know in some others, tourism derives a lot of power from community pride. People in Fort Worth, we're a city of 1 million people, but people so much want to show off their city, and they're so excited when visitors come. I think that's one of the reasons we have a very easy time. You bring a journalist to town or someone shopping for a convention, you're so eager to show off the city, and doors open. Can I take them behind the scenes at the museum? Can they ride a horse? Whatever it is, Fort Worthians are so excited to share the experience of what it means to live here or visit here. So we've been the beneficiaries of that, very much so.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Dallas, Texas in 7th grade, which is no one's ever favorite grade. My dad was relocated to Sugar Land near Houston. Great shout out to the tourism team there. Then went back to Dallas for college at SMU, and then settled in Fort Worth, where I had never visited. So had been a Texan all my life, fourth generation, and it's just been a great place to live. And of course, travel takes us all over, and so have been excited to be in this industry and expanding my roots that have been here for so long.
How does it feel to be wearing the jacket and tie now?
I've been preparing for this moment for a long time. My boss, Bob Jameson, an incredible CEO who just retired, after 13 years with us and then 30 years with Marriott before that. He encouraged me to prepare for this and said he would retire one day, and he thought I should apply. And after all that preparation, last Friday was his last official day in the office, and we had a week of transition together. And he stood up to walk out. We realized we had finished his last meeting. And being a Friday, the office wasn't full, but there was a core group of folks, and we clapped out as Bob left. And he and I hugged, and it was really struck us for all the years we've talked about this. That was the moment he left. And it's exciting. And you have to be grateful for the mentors you have and who prepared you for this moment, the mentors who you work for and the mentors who you work alongside. But for the fastest growing tourism destination in the country, we've just surpassed 1 million people, and the opportunities here are exhilarating, challenging, exciting. And we realize we're starting a new chapter and have some exciting things ahead.
What are a couple of the challenges you foresee having to work with over the next couple of years?
We need to meet this moment for our city. And I will share some part of our story to describe that. So just did a 5-year look back on tourism. And again, we are growing faster in percentage of growth visitors than any other major city. We have our arena, Dickies Arena, 15,000 seats, is the number one revenue generating arena of its size in the world. The Stockyards, more people visit the Stockyards Western Historic District than buy a ticket to tour the Eiffel Tower. So we have so much opportunity and so much has been invested here. There has been an investment of $250 million in our zoo, the 5 museums in our cultural district, designed by great architects, Louis Kahn, Tadeo Ando, Philip Johnson. We want to fulfill the best we can do for our city. So it's not about having the most tourists, but did we bring the most economic impact for our residents? And so that in turn, one is part of a great economy that as hospitality, the impact of hospitality has doubled in the last 10 years, now about a $4 billion economy. That's great for us. And so making sure we're delivering for our residents. Another example of that, many people know now that we have the largest film and TV production studios in Texas, 500,000 square feet. Taylor Sheridan has based 5 TV shows here. And there's other activity. It's a phenomenal opportunity. In the last 18 months, those shows booked more than 60,000 hotel room nights. But we're also working closely with the producers and our residents to make sure that filming is done here in a way that we balance the needs of residents and filmmakers. And it's been a great symbiosis, and I think we're there. But all this opportunity means it raises the stakes and we have to deliver. Finally, we have the city's largest ever civic construction project, the convention center. Massive expansion renovation, $700 million. That will be a beacon to national meetings we haven't seen before. So how do we just deliver in the right way for the residents? So a lot of growth, but a lot of responsibility with it.
You mentioned the residents several times. And I want to give you and your team a pat on the back. I just looked up the Leadership Fort Worth Host Program, which has involved over 1,000 community members so far. What do you think is the secret to being a great host?
I think it starts with pride of place. It starts with pride in your community. And we all live in our bubble. We have our grocery store and our commute, and we have our path. But even when you don't get beyond that very often, you're still proud of your city and you still are eager to not only show it off, but we heard a lot of people say, I want to brush up on what was great about Fort Worth. I've been here in a while or there a while, but we heard a lot of people who, Stephen, as you and I were talking about the power of curiosity, who wanted to learn more about their city. So the host program was something we created with Leadership Fort Worth. And we went to them and we said, we want to create something so that as people are preparing for visitors for World Cup. And frankly, we didn't give these ambassadors anything to do. We just said, would you like to enrich your knowledge of your city? And we've had so much interest from realtors, from doctors, certainly tour guides, people who own restaurants. And they all wanted to really, I think, driven by that community pride and that desire to be able to share more. And because there's, like many cities, we have a lot of growth and a lot of neighborhoods growing. And there's no way to keep up with it all. So we were excited that to date, 1,000 people have signed up and taken this free 90-minute program online.
What is something you're looking to learn in the coming year?
Well, certainly in this new role, as much as I have worked alongside Bob as a chief operating officer, I have to come into it with a little bit of humility in that I have a vision for the organization, but I need to listen and learn as we go. And you make tiny adjustments and you adopt and you recruit people to join you. But I'm also listening because the needs of the city are changing as well. So I'm listening internally to my team and I'm listening externally. And so I think that's no matter how much you prepare for a job, EO is a position of one. And there really is not, you can't have that experience in another position. So I'm really looking to learn that. I think also we'll be taking our convention center message on the road and introducing Fort Worth to new people who don't know that we're located in the heart of the country, served by one of the busiest airports in the world, where we're a direct flight destination, that our convention center is connected downtown in the heart of our city, that rising up next to it is an innovation district driven by Texas A&M University, but now joined by the private sector moving in. So we've got to get that message right, but I'm excited to learn how people react to that and how we can meet their needs. So it's definitely about taking Fort Worth to new markets.
Who do you look up to in the destination space?
Well, in our own city, Mayor Maddie Parker is the champion for our city. And we're proud to serve as the tourism destination organization. She is really the number one advocate, and she has been a big supporter of ours. And I'm really proud that we have a city that wants to grow in tourism, that wants to maximize tourism for our residents. So I definitely look up to her. Also, I think we all, in some ways, have our own personal board of directors who help us and advise us along the way. And there's almost too many to name, but I'll say just a few. In no particular order, Brett Otting, formerly CEO of Corpus Christi, has been a very helpful advisor. Renee McKinney in Tulsa has been a friend and advisor. She introduced me to tourism when I was at SMU, and she's asked me to get involved and visit Dallas. And now proud to see her doing amazing things in Tulsa, taking Tulsa to Broadway and celebrating Route 66. Craig Davis in Dallas, we compete with Dallas, but he's a close friend and advisor as well. So just a lot of great champions, too many people to name in this space. And you have to love this industry for all the sharing and collegiality that goes on, even with those who we compete with.
In what way has AI influenced your organization structure?
Is having an impact, but not in the way we first thought. The first wave of AI was all about copywriting and copy ideas and content generation. And of course, no wonder Merriam-Webster called the word of the year for 2025 was slop for that very reason. We really leaned into the analytics side. I've been really proud of our CFO, Kurt Fournier. He's currently, I think he's the incoming chair of Destinations Texas, the organization. Kurt has incredible analytics skills, and this has accelerated that for him and the visualization of that. Nothing could be more important than how we tell our story, not only to our customers, but also to our residents. And I'm really excited to see Kurt leading the organization from an analytics point of view and inspiring others. We're sharing these tools with some others in the organization who can help us this way as well. But Kurt's helping us process information faster, get insights deeper. And I think the analytics side, and where we're going to really excel with AI right now.
I wholeheartedly agree. Every day there's something new to learn in that technology space. What skill do you think more people need to develop if they want to take leadership roles in the tourism industry?
Let me talk about 3 skills that are vital to leadership in the tourism space. To repeat what we've talked about earlier, there's certainly the curiosity and the willingness to listen to others, listen to your team, listen to your community. The second thing I would say, though, is also the accept the mantle to lead. Lead even when it's challenging, lead even when it's without permission. I was asking Jeff Freeman the other day, president and CEO of U.S. Travel Association, for his advice for a young CEO, and accept the mantle of leadership, and you have to move your organization forward. That's what they've hired you to do. I think the third thing is embrace community. And even while leading, know that you serve your community. But that takes more than just a willingness. Let's be real. We can give lip service to community, or we can take the time to devote to that. That means taking that extra call. That means taking that coffee. It means meeting with that person who wanted to meet with you. It means building the team around you so that you have that ability to be the person out front. And it means meeting with your city council. It means meeting with community leaders and taking the time to get to know your community, which is always changing. So it's a never ending task. So that's all to say that you can be curious, but you have to lead. You can lead, but you have to bring your community along and recognize that you serve them. And that's really what we have tried to do here. The job is never finished. Cities are never finished. And the story of tourism is always being written and rewritten.
What's your favorite book?
I'm a big John Irving fan, A Prayer for Owen Meany. John is a great author, writes about great stories about people, and our business is about people. But I think even on a personal level, we all love Will Guidara's Unexpected Hospitality was my team's summer reading last year. And not just for work, but also for life. How do you serve others, show up for people more than they expected or in ways they didn't expect? My kids are 19 and 22. My two sons live in Austin, Texas. And I love surprising them. And so I think it's a great outlook, not just for hospitality, but I think, Stephen, you might agree, a lot of us in hospitality don't see it as a job. We're in it because it fits our kind of outlook on the world. So 2 books I like.
I like that you had the 3 characteristics that you talked about. And for us, it's joy. You have to like what you do. You have to enjoy it. Kindness. Like you said, sharing that kindness and surprising people and learning. Is there a talent or hobby that you have that might surprise most of the people you work with?
And so a couple of years ago, the best workout I ever had was a boxing class that I took 3 days a week at 6 a.m. with Paulie Ayala, who's a world champion boxer from some years ago. But he has a great gym on the west side of Fort Worth. And I never thought I would be doing that. I run and bike, but that was one of the best classes ever. And for 2 reasons. One, I had not really done a contact sport in many years, but also as I was leaving my class, the group of 60, 70, 80-year-olds who had Parkinson's would come in. And Paulie discovered quite accidentally, the exercises you do in boxing actually help alleviate some of the symptoms of Parkinson's. And there was one friend of mine, Gary, who when he started at 70 years old with onset of Parkinson's, couldn't jump rope. And within a year, he could. It was a fun class, but also just gave you insights into a lot of other people.
What is your most recent feel-good story about Fort Worth?
Okay, so recently we were in a conversation with our Black Tourism Advisory Council, and they asked us why we had not engaged with 20-time Grammy winner Kirk Franklin, who's a gospel singer who lives here from here. And we said a little defensively, well, we've tried, we can't get a hold of him. And they said, well, try harder. We've got a connection. And again, listening to communities, we were lucky enough to connect with him. He came to the office. We had a kind of a welcome sign on our big screen up for him. And I said, Mr. Franklin, I know Fort Worth has not always embraced you to the fullest, to the height of your career, but we're so grateful for the chance to work with you. So then he spent a full day with us filming a series for our Fort Worth 5, taking us to his 5 favorite places in Fort Worth, and 10 hours. It was an amazing video shoot that he would give us that time, even though he, a week earlier, did not really feel that Fort Worth had taken notice of his amazing career. So he's on this video shoot. They're setting up in this one location in a coffee shop. And a customer who was in there didn't know what was happening. And they said, what's going on? And the coffee shop owner said, we're about to film with Kirk Franklin. And the guy left. And he came back 30 minutes later. He had taken his kids out of school to come meet Kirk Franklin. It's humbling. And sometimes you have to work harder to get the story. Sometimes you have to work harder to make things happen. But that was one of the most rewarding experiences for us, was showing that respect and love, and asked him to help us elevate the Fort Worth story by sharing his own. So that was a fun experience just the other day.
Anything I didn't ask that you wish I did?
Steve, what's the most important thing to your listeners?
People listen to our show because they have curiosity, because they want to understand what it takes to get into leadership roles in tourism. If they're not already in a leadership role, trying to learn from others. I think in, let's say, 300 interviews, we have clearly defined that the path to leadership in tourism is serpentine. There's very rarely a clear, direct line. So to show people or teach people that they can end up in the roles that they aspire to, regardless of what they're doing now, and build the transferable skills. I think that's what's been most interesting to our listeners.
Stephen, you remind me of one of my other tourism heroes, Jake Steinman, who created the E-Tourism Summit many years ago. My first week on the job in this position was attending E-Tourism before I knew what tourism was. And Jake always says, I fear irrelevance. And that's really, I think, a great, hungry mindset. We always ask ourselves, how do we provide value to the visitor? How do we provide value to the convention customer, the sports customer? How do we provide value to the resident? Why should they care? And I think that has really been another driving value of our organization is fearing irrelevance. The bigger point is because we have to deliver, we have to show value. Certainly wanting to advance in my career, but more days than not, got better by showing value to people. And I had to end on that note. In one of the last episodes of Ted Lasso, it's the last meeting of the Diamond Dogs, and they're debating about, did people change and can people change? And one of the characters says, it's about surrounding ourselves with the right people and always moving toward better. And I think, if anything, that's been helpful to me.
I appreciate it. If folks want to plan a trip to Fort Worth, where should they go?
Go to fortworth.com and check us out, all the content. Follow us on social at Visit Fort Worth. But I would also say, follow our music association at Hear Fort Worth, like HEAR, Fort Worth. The local music scene, you'll learn so much about the people here and some of the vibe and the diversity. And Stephen, I just want to say thank you not only for today, but for helping tell the stories that you do and the leadership we try to provide, not just for our organizations, but for our community. And hopefully, more often than not, it's a story of leadership through service. But thank you, Stephen, for the stories you tell.
I appreciate you and your time. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Enjoyed listening to some of your podcasts and look forward to following you. Do you travel out to the conferences or shows?
So I'm a professional traveler, a professional tourist. I sold my house and everything in it 4.5 years ago. So I am right now on the shore of Flathead Lake outside Glacier National Park, working my way to Portland for the DI conference. So I will be there with bells on.
I'd love to say hi to you.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Thank you very much for taking time to talk to me.
Enjoy your rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in to Business Class. This episode was brought to you by Learn Tourism, the nonprofit academy where we advance the tourism industry with cutting-edge training and sustainable practices. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to visit learntourism.org to learn more about our programs and how you can get involved. Until next time, stay curious, continue learning and making a difference through tourism.